and welcome back to the Way of Truth through Torah. It's been a minute or two since we've seen y'all because we did air last week, but we haven't posted it yet. We will be posting that. Huh?
I told Seth I need into his Facebook.
Mm-mm.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
No, that's fine.
Don't let her in your Facebook. Guys, today, listen, I'm excited because what we're doing this year, and this is our first Torah Parsha, it's the first two, we're recapping the Torah Parshas. Did everybody read the first two Torah Parshas?
Yes.
No? Ow.
See, that's what happens up here. You get quickly reprimanded. So, Valerie, you asked for a quick reprimand from y'all.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Your keyframe is too low. Do we have sound this time?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So, guys, the very last Torah Parsha that I know, what was it that was it?
Deuteronomy.
Oh, man, it was the very last portion of Deuteronomy was muted. We had no volume, and I want to apologize for that. Still don't know what happened. I'm sure it was user error. I think Seth did.
Did you message Bill?
I
Yes.
did. I messaged Bill, and I hope he's with us. And it's
Love you, Bill.
still popping up. Is he on?
Oh, I don't know. I was just saying hi.
Bill, Battle, we miss you and love you. And that's to everyone out there. And we've been praying. We've got a very good friend, and her father is in hospice right now. So, Misty, we've been praying for you and for your dad, and we will keep you all in prayers. So I tried calling this morning, and we'll talk to you later, see how everything's going. So, guys, in the beginning, Bereshith. So this is in the beginning of the beginning. He was, and this is just so beautiful. There's so much, even in the very first word of Bereshith.
Yes.
Okay, so before we even go there, I want us to read Isaiah 43, 10 through 11, and I'll read Isaiah 46, 9. And while Seth is getting there, guys, there's a sign on I-45 when you're going south, and it says, it's all about Jesus.
Yeah.
Who did Yahusha always point us to?
Father.
He always pointed back to Abba Yah. Now listen, you can't get to Abba Yah unless you go through the sign, but it is all about Yahweh. His son even pointed us to him, and he said, imitate me. If you imitate me, you'll be acting like the Father, right?
That goes with Paul. Paul was saying in 1 Corinthians 4, he said, imitate me as I imitate
That's
Messiah."
exactly it.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes on to say the same thing, I think, over in 6, in 1 Corinthians 6.
Yep.
Okay, you want to read for us
Sure.
in 43? And what verse was that?
10 and 11.
Good deal.
You are my witnesses, declares Yahuwah, and my servant whom I have chosen, so that you know and believe me, and understand that I am he. Before me there was no El formed, nor after me there is none. I am Yahuwah, and besides me there is no Savior.
Okay, that is quite a statement, is it not?
Mm-hmm.
So, to be able to completely understand what this statement is all about, you need to understand that after the fall in the garden, who did Yah send to deal with us fallen?
He sent
Human.
Yahusha because y'all can't be around sin.
He sent the word,
Mm-hmm.
his very breathed out
Breath.
word. Look, okay, I'm going to ask you this, okay? When you go to do work, what are you using?
Your hands.
You're using your arms and your hands. When Yahusha created, when Yahweh created everything, what did he use?
His right arm.
He used his right arm. Through his right arm, he created everything. So we have to understand that he is a God. He is one. He just said, you are my witnesses, declares Yahweh, and my servant whom I have chosen, so that you know and believe me and understand that I am he. He is he. Before me, there was no El formed, nor after me, there is none. I am Yahweh, and besides me, there is no Savior. Who's our Savior? Yahusha. And Yahusha is the right arm of Yah. Do y'all understand that he's one? There's bits and pieces that he sends to us. We don't get to see the fullness of him. We sizzle.
I
Just
guess-
like
Yeah.
go ahead.
No.
No, that's all right.
Well, I can see right here. This is why some religions think that he don't, that the Messiah hasn't come. They're probably just taking that right there and saying, "Oh, okay, well, he hasn't come yet."
Yeah, they're over in Israel.
Mhm.
Do you know that right now, and I think I shared this with y'all earlier, right now they believe that the Messiah is there. And this Messiah is a rabbi, and he has performed miracles.
Yep.
Of course, there will be lying signs and miracles. He's not our rabbi. He's not our Messiah. And he's not their Messiah. And he will lead them in a bad direction. And as they consecrate or anoint their third temple, it's not Yahushua's temple. It's not the temple that our Father intends to be the third temple. Okay, I'm going to read from Isaiah 46, 8 through 10. And it's on page 451. Remember this and show yourselves men. Turn it back, you transgressors. Remember the former events of old, for I am El, and there is no one else. Elohim, and there is no one like me. Declaring the end from the beginning and from of old, that which has not yet been done, saying, my counsel does stand, and all my delight I do. Guys, he is from the beginning. Okay, so let's go back to Bereshith, Genesis. We're going to start in 1. And we are not going to read the whole Torah Parsha. What we're doing this year is we're going to recap the Torah Parshas. And it's kind of scary because we're recapping 2 Torah Parshas today. So we're going from 1 all the way through 11. But we're going to make it, and we're not going to make it long. It's a recap because y'all have already read everything. But what I do want to do is I want to bring up everything. Oh, they're placing bets on the side to
Got
see.
20 on. No, I'm joking. No, I'm just joking. It's okay.
2
because
hours?
This is
He's
it.
gonna hit.
This is one of my favorite.
It's the most important.
Yeah.
This is the foundation of everything. This is where it all begins. Listen, in the beginning, Elohim created the heavens and the earth. In the beginning, Bereshith. Okay, let's look at this. I want you to look at this word through the Hebrew eyes. Bereshith. You've got the bet, you've got the resh, you've got the, the aleph, you've got the resh, you've got the shin, you've got the, let me see here. We've got, I'm doing it by memory. We've got the, oh, where did I put it? Well, I'm going to have to go. We've got the bait, the resh, the aleph, the shin, the yod, and the tav. So let's look at each letter in this word. The bait. What does the bait mean?
House.
It is the house. It is the strong house that takes care of and houses and protects who? The family.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone that is inside of it. So you've got the house, the bait. What is the resh?
Head.
The head, the face, the head of all. What is all left?
The ox.
It's a strong ox, or it could be Yah. It could be the king. It's the head, the one, the main guy in charge. The shin,
The teeth. Ivory.
teeth. It can be timber. It could be teeth. It could be destroyer. It could be consume. Okay, and then we've got the yod,
Hands.
hands.
To work or something.
It could be to work,
Deeds.
deeds. Also, it could be a gift.
Yeah.
The top. What is the top?
The mark of the sign covenant.
It's the mark of the covenant. It is the covenant. It's the mark of the covenant. Okay, so we've got the covenant. When you, this whole word, let me show you in the Hebrew mindset. The son of Yahweh, crowned with a thorn upon his head and hanging on a timber, shall be a gift from Yahweh through the covenant of his son.
Wow.
This is what, in the one word, Bereshith, in the beginning, this is what is encompassed. This is what is all in that one word. Yahusha's right there, guys. And what I want you to understand is that the word Elohim is not singular.
Right.
Can you
What-
say that again?
Yes. The Son of Yahweh, crowned with a thorn upon his head and hanging on a timber, shall be a gift from Yahweh through the covenant of his
That was
Son.
beautiful.
Upon his head. We want that too.
In the beginning, in the very beginning, was our Savior.
Yep.
There he was, our one and only right arm of Yah.
Yeah, he says it in Revelation. He's the Aleph and the Tav.
He is the Aleph and the Top. He's the beginning,
Beginning and
and the end. And he was before everything was created.
Yep.
He is the right arm of Yah. So I've heard people say, when he created the light, that wasn't the sun. That is correct. It was not. But it wasn't Yahusha either. Because Yahusha is part of Yah. Yah and Yahusha were before everything. He didn't create Yahusha. Yahusha's not the light. But let me tell you what is a light. Go to Psalms 119, 142.
Yep.
What is the light? The Torah. So in the beginning, Elohim created the heavens and the earth came to be formless and empty, and darkness was on the face of the deep, and the spirit of Elohim was moving on the face of the waters. And Elohim said, let light come to be, and light came to be. And Elohim saw the light, that it was good, and Elohim separated the light from the darkness. He separated the good, the tov, the tav, the very word of his being, the Torah. He separated it from everything that was evil. And he created evil too. Okay? He created everything. Nothing has been that he did not create. So he called the day light, and he called the darkness night. I want you to see, go ahead. You've got a verse to read.
No. I was telling Grant. Yeah.
Okay, so you've got Psalm 119.
119.
You better have that Psalm.
Yes, ma'am. It's 119.
So, did y'all read the targums for this section?
Uh-uh.
Oh my gosh. You guys should read it.
Wait, do you have it?
Yeah.
Read it.
But there was a lot of stuff about the Torah in the beginning that was in the targums that we don't really see in scripture. About his law. His law. It's mentioned over and over again through creation.
Well, listen.
It's so beautiful. I was like,
Who is
Colossians.
his law?
yes.
Yahusha.
Yahusha is the law, but he created the very law that was. Let me say something here. Uh-oh. Okay, look at First Colossians 16. Oh wait, go ahead and read yours.
119, 40, 142 is the righteousness. Your righteousness is forever, and your Torah is truth.
Read that loud.
Your righteousness is righteousness forever, and your Torah is truth.
Okay, and where's the one about the Torah is light?
Lamp.
Is a
That's
light
what
unto
I'm
your
It's
feet.
over on the other page next to it.
Yeah,
To the right.
you know where it is. Read it.
Yes, ma'am. Pressure.
I think it's 105.
105. It is 105. It says your lamp, or excuse me, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path.
His word, his Torah, is a light. In the beginning, he created that light. That light is his Torah. And look at Colossians. First Colossians 16.
You mean 1 Corinthians?
Colossians. Just Colossians 1:16. Because in him were created all that are in the heavens and that are on the earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or rulerships or principalities or authorities. All have been created through him and for him. For he is before all, and in him all hold together. Guys, Yahusha, whom Yahuwah created everything through his right arm. He did all of his work with his right arm. Is that not a beautiful picture? Yahusha is his right arm of salvation, and through that right arm, he did everything. He created everything. He is a very memoré, the word, the breathed out word, the breath that holds everything together. Everything on this earth. The stars that are in the sky are obedient to who? Yah. to his commands. Enoch tells us that the stars are what?
Messengers.
Messengers. They're angels. And they have got a commandment to follow. The same thing for the sun and the moon. The moon's been off whack for quite some time, hadn't it?
Yes.
And I really like 17, 18 in that same chapter.
Read it.
And he is before all, and in him all hold together, and he is the head of the body, the assembly, who is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead, that he might become the one who is first in all. So he was in the beginning.
Yes. Keep going.
And because in him all the completeness was well pleased to dwell, and through him to completely restore to favor all unto himself, whether on earth or in the heavens, having made peace through the blood of his stake. And you who once were estranged and enemies in the mind by wicked works, but now he has completely restored to favor in the body of his flesh through death, to present you set apart and blameless and unreprovable before him.
If indeed
You continue in the belief, founded and steadfast, and are not moved away from the expectation of the good news which you heard, which was proclaimed to every creature under the heaven, of which I, Shaul, became a servant, who now rejoice in my sufferings for you, and fill up in my flesh what is lacking in Messiah's afflictions, for the sake of his body, which is the assembly, of which I became a servant according to the administration of Elohim, which was given to me for you to fill the word of Elohim.
that's perfect. That is perfect. So he is everything. Through him, everything was created. He's the head. He's the body. He's everything, guys.
I got for the Proverbs 6:23 talking about the light. It says, "For the command is a lamp, and the Torah is a light, and reproofs of discipline a way of life."
So without the Torah, there's no discipline.
Without the light, you have no
there's
rules.
you have no guidance.
Yep.
You have no path to go
Just
down.
like without Yahusha, you have nothing.
So guys, think about it. When you were without Torah, you didn't know where you were going. I didn't. I just went willy-nilly. Everything was okay. I could do whatever I wanted, but it didn't bring me joy. It didn't bring me peace.
You still
It didn't bring me blessings, and I sure didn't resemble Messiah.
have that emptiness, that void we need to fill.
That's
And the
right.
only thing that we can do that with is Him.
That's right. Valerie,
We're to be salt and light. Flavorful. Where does that light come from? Yahusha was the light. His Torah is light, and we are to be the light too.
That's
As
right.
we embody the Torah and make it a part of our daily walk, we become lights as well.
and that's key. And we were talking about that this morning before we even started our live stream. We have to walk this out because everyone is watching you. Those of you out there who are walking out Torah are doing your best to walk it out. Everyone around you is watching. They're all watching.
You're like a lighthouse, and a beacon is your light that shows the Yahusha in you.
But
And,
yeah,
and you get to choose every day if you're going to choose that light or you're going to shut it off.
I'm gonna tell you something. When you shut it off, those around you will crash into the rocks.
Yep. Yep.
Okay? Because you're probably leading and guiding more people than what you realize.
Yep.
I want to read from the book of 4th Ezra. It's also known as the second book of Ezra, chapter 6. And it's just kind of and Ezra, guys, listen. This was part of the Canaanite scriptures all the way up till about the 1700s, 1800s. It was in the KJV, it was in the Geneva Bible. And who removed it? Who would do that?
Catholics.
What?
Catholics.
Damn Roman Catholics.
So the Roman Catholic Church did remove it, and I can tell you why, because it tells you way more than what they want you to know, doesn't it? Okay, I'm going to read from 6. And he said to me,
Where were you at?
I'm in chapter 6, verse 1.
Okay.
And he said unto me, in the beginning, Bereshith, when the earth was made, before the borders of the world stood. The borders of the world. This could take us on a whole different...
I saw, yeah. I'll tell you about this later.
Okay, so, yeah, before the borders, wait, how do you have borders on a circle? I mean, not a circle, but a ball.
You can't.
You can't have borders. So before the borders of the world stood, or ever the winds blew, maybe at that point it was just a ball hurtling through the space in time. Maybe it was. Maybe it started out a ball. But here, it can't be a ball if it's got borders. Before it thundered and lightning, or ever the foundations of paradise were laid, before the fair flowers were seen, or ever the movable powers were established, before the innumerable multitude of angels were gathered together. Guys, this is before everything and everything. There was nothing but Yahusha and Yah. Before everything. Or ever the heights of the air were lifted up, before the measures of the expanse were named, or ever the chimneys in Zion were hot, or ere the present years were sought out, or even the inventions of them that now sin were turned, before they were sealed that have gathered belief for a treasure.
This is good.
Then did I consider these things, and they were all made through me alone, and through none other. By me also they shall be ended, and none other.
This is plan right
He
there.
began it, and he will end it from the beginning to the end, from the very beginning of Genesis all the way through Revelation. And I'm going to tell you all the books in between. Okay? So we have started out with Bereshith. You understand now from the Hebrew stance the fullness of this work. And guys, inside the word Bereshith is also Shabbat. You've got the Shin, the Bet, and the Tav. You've got Shabbat. You've also got to repent. You've got Teshub. You've got the Tav, Teshuv, the Shin, and the Beit. Teshuv, to repent, to turn back to Yah. And if we sat and really studied it for a while, we could probably find a whole lot more there. Okay? So just in that one word, you can take all the letters and you've got everything. You've got a lot. You've got a lot.
Yeah, you could even do a Bible code on it.
You could. You sure could. We should do that. And speaking of that, I've got a Bible code to share with y'all, but not y'all. Sorry. Okay. Guys, Genesis 1:1. Who echoes this in the New Testament?
Yahusha.
John.
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 John 1.
Would you read it?
Yeah.
John 1:1. So everything that took place in the beginning, let me tell you, who was Yahusha's best friend?
John.
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 Not John the Baptist. John the Baptist was actually his cousin, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was his good friend. And he mourned when
Yes.
John the Baptist was beheaded. But John the Apostle, Yahusha loved him. And I believe he loved him because I believe that their relationship was so close that John knew. He knew what he knew. He knew who he was. He's like, you were in the beginning.
Where
Do
you want me
it.
to read to?
To 4. Through 4.
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with Elohim, and the Word was Elohim. And he was in the beginning with Elohim. All came to be through him, and without him, not even one came to be that came to be. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. And the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it.
Perfect. The darkness has not overcome it. So John's pointing back at who? He's
Yeah,
pointing back
the
at the
Father.
very beginning,
Yep.
before anything was created. He said, our Savior was there then. I like the way Steve Berkson kind of tells the story of the Father and the Son, but it's really even more than that because Yahusha is literally a piece of his very being. But he said, it's like the Father and the Son, they're sitting there and they're talking, and they're like, what are you going to do, Son? And the Son goes, Dad, let's create men in our own image. Let's do that. And Abba said, do you know what they're going to do? They're going to turn on you. They're not going to be obedient. You're going to have to go down there and die for them. And the Son said, I'll do it. I'll do it. Let's just create them. Let's give them a chance. There's going to be a remnant, guys. There will be a remnant that are going to be saved through his sacrifice, through his coming and dying for our sins. There will be a remnant. It's not going to be a whole lot of people, are there? Okay. Would you go to Revelation 22, 6 through 21?
Yep.
Revelation 22, 6 through 1.
16,
No.
21.
6 through 21. Yep.
And he said to me, these words are trustworthy and true. And Yahuwah your Elohim of the set apart prophets has sent his messenger to show his servants what has to take place with speed. See, I am coming speedily. Blessed is he who guards the words of the prophecy of this book. And I, Yohanan, saw and heard these matters. And when I heard and saw, I fell down to worship before the feet of the messenger who showed me these matters. And he said to me, see, do not, for I am your fellow servant, and of your brothers the prophets, and of those who are guarding the words of this book. Worship Elohim. And he said to me, do not steal the words of this prophecy of this book, because
Do not seal them.
I'm sorry, do not seal the prophecy. Do not seal the words of the prophecy. Do not seal the words of the prophecy of this book, because the time is near. He who does wrong, let him do more wrong. He who is filthy, let him be more filthy. He who is righteous, let him be more righteous. He who is set apart, let him be more set apart. And see, I am coming speedily, and my reward is with me, to give to each according to his work.
What did you just say?
To give to each to according of his work. He's going to give us a reward for according what we do.
So, our works revolving around what? His commands. Guys, listen. You better be listening to what Seth here is talking about. Okay, keep going.
I am the Aleph and the Tav. I am the beginning and the end, the first and the last. Blessed are those doing his commands, so that the authority shall be theirs unto the tree of life, and to enter through the gates into the city. But outside are the dogs and those.
Wait, would you read 14 all
Yes.
over again?
Blessed are those doing his commands, so that the authority shall be theirs unto the tree of life, and to enter through the gates into the city.
Without being obedient to his commandments, guys, you're not getting through the gates. You're going to keep reading.
But outside are the dogs and those who enchant with drugs, and those who whore and murderers and the idolaters, and all who have loved to do falsehood. I, Yahusha, have sent my messenger to witness these matters in the assemblies. I am the root of the offspring of David, and the bright and morning star. And the Spirit and the bride say, come. Or bow, right?
Bo.
Bow. And he who hears, let him say, bow. And he who thirsts, bow. And he who desires it, take the water of life without pain.
Wow.
For I witness to everyone hearing the words of this prophecy of this book. If anyone adds to them, Elohim shall add to him the plagues that are written in this book. And if anyone takes away the words of the book of this prophecy, Elohim shall take away his part of the book of life and out of the set apart city which are written in this book. He who bears witness of these matters says, yes, I am coming speedily. Amen. Yes, come, Master Yahusha. The favor of our Master Yahusha Messiah be with the set apart ones. Amen.
Hold on. That last sentence, and this is the end of the book, the favor, the grace. Favor is grace. It is grace. Of our Master Yahusha Messiah be with who?
Set apart ones.
Who gets the grace?
Set apart ones.
Guys, I'm going to tell you something. The grace has nothing to do with being able to say, I believe that he came and died for my sins.
And then you all of a sudden get grace.
And you get grace and you just get to do and live however you want. Has absolutely nothing to do with that. Yes, sir.
Is compassion grace?
Compassion is love. You can have compassion on anyone. Right? You can have compassion on a lame dog. But his compassion...
Or are you saying like when Yah said like he has compassion on others?
The James 2 verse that I did.
Okay?
Like Yah shows compassion? It means he shows his love.
Yeah, he shows
Yeah.
us love.
He
But
shows
grace
how
is
much
different.
he loves you.
Now, can you... I think there's a plug-in somewhere, and it's about to make me throw up. I don't know where it is. but I didn't
Oh, I know
smell
what
it
is.
a few days ago.
I can't stand it.
Huh? You can't smell it? You
No, I
can't.
can't stand
It is?
Is that maybe that?
Is that a new one?
Mm-mm. None of them are new.
Something's new because it's like, it's really strong.
it. Oh, I smell it. It's from there.
It's from there. Would you unplug it? I bet you somebody else plugged it in.
In the bathroom?
Yeah, because she was cleaning upstairs.
Oh,
But if
Uh,
so, Bethany, if you'll unplug that before you leave. I'm sorry, guys. We've got a really strong smell coming
turn
out.
it down too.
Just
Turn it off.
unplug it because it's a stench. It smells awful.
unplug it in, unplug it
Okay,
in.
let us go to Genesis. We're moving forward. We're going to Genesis 1:14 through 18. And Elohim said, "Let the lights come to be in the expanse of the heavens to separate the day from the night, and let them be for signs and appointed times, and let them." Well, I really messed that one up. Let lights come to be in the expanse of the heavens to separate the day from the night, and let them be for signs and appointed times, and for days and for years. And let them be for lights in the expanse of the heavens to give light on the earth. And it came to be so. And Elohim made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night, and the stars. So the sun and the moon are what?
They're lights.
They're lights. These are lights. And I'm going to tell you something. The night light isn't working very well, is it?
No.
I think we've messed it up somewhere along the last 2,000 years, or maybe 4,000 years, somewhere we've messed it up because it's very confused. It's out in the daytime now.
We got two lights during the day.
We got two lights in the daytime. We have no light at night except for the stars. So it's really got everything kind of confused. You know what? I see that they're plugged in everywhere.
You gonna unplug all of them?
But it's just an awful smell. Thank you, and I'm sorry to do that. Sorry, guys.
You're good.
Thank you. That one's one of the old ones. This one, I don't know where these came from, but they stink.
Okay.
Whew, they're very strong.
Yeah. It's strong in the bathroom.
Oh, it was, wasn't it? Okay, thank you so much, and I hate to do that again. Okay, so guys, why did he put the stars and the sun and the moon in the skies?
So we can,
For appointed times.
For appointed times,
That is.
for seasons.
seasons.
Okay, we have gotten so far off, haven't we? Let me see in here. 2, 4. I want us to go ahead and go there. I want us to go to Jubilees. And Jubilees, again, is another one of those books.
it was taken out
It was taken out
by the Catholic Church.
by the Catholic Church. And Jubilees is amazing because it's got everything split down into every 50 years, okay?
Yep.
It's really, really cool. But in Jubilee 6, 6th chapter of Jubilees, I want to show you something. And this is really talking about, maybe I should wait, but no, I'm not going to. Okay, we'll come back to this when we get to the Noah part. But on the first month, on the first day, on the 4th month, on the first day, on the 7th month, on the first day, and on the 10th month, on the first day. All of these are at the beginning of a month but following a, like, what is it called? When you've got the longest day of the year.
Solstice?
The summer solstice,
Yeah.
the winter solstice, and then there's 2 other days, the day of the equinox, or the 2 days the fall equinox and the spring equinox. Okay, so they immediately proceed or immediately follow these particular days. So you've got, okay, I'm going to go ahead and read this before I really mess it up. On the new moon, I'm in chapter 6, verse 26. On the new moon of the 4th month of the mouths of the depths of the abyss beneath were closed, and on the new moon of the 7th month, all the mouths of the abyss of the earth were opened, and the waters began to descend into them. So during Noah's time, guys, listen, I want to, wait, let me go back one more. I get excited. Look at 16. He said his bow in the cloud. I'm sorry, go ahead.
We're in 16 of 6.
No,
16
6
of 6
Yeah,
of
sorry.
Jubilees. He set his bow, his rainbow, in the cloud for a sign of the eternal covenant that should not again be a flood on the earth to destroy it all the days of the earth. Listen to this. For this reason, it is ordained and written in the heavenly tablets that they should celebrate the feast of Shavuot. Did you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
In this month, once a year, to renew the covenant every year.
Every year.
When was the Torah given? On this day, the feast of Shavuot. So it's not just a renewal of the covenant that was given on Mount Sinai. It's the covenant that Yah made with Noah. He said, "I'll never again flood this earth." We've been seeing double rainbows everywhere, everywhere. Pictures of them are popping up all over the internet. So I just want you to see the depth of our Father, the depth of everything that we're going to be reading today, but how He doesn't. Okay, let me ask you something. Each person in here has an event that was very traumatic, right? Mm-hmm. Do you remember your traumatic event, Grant?
I'm not sure what you would want to call a traumatic.
Do you have a traumatic event?
Mm-hmm.
One of my traumatic events was when my house burned, okay? For years, I'd be like, before the house burned or after the house burned. And every year at that time, remember, this is when our house burned, okay?
Mine?
What was, do you care to share it?
I got a lot, but one of them was when I went to go get clean off drugs.
Wow.
And I was looking into his eyes.
Don't you make me cry?
I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm gonna drink.
That right there was just to see his face. It was like, God, and his tears rolling down his eyes.
So you remember that day,
Yeah.
and you remember it forever. Okay, so when y'all put to death, I love you, brother. When y'all put to death everyone, all the animals, all the creations on the earth, this was traumatic for him.
I bet.
This broke his heart to have to do this. And every year he said, I want you to remember the covenant that I made with you on this day. I'm never going to do that again. Ever. The next time it will be through fire, and it will be a complete destruction. But that destruction, that destruction by water, he says, on Shavuot, which is a spring festival. It's the third festival that he commands us to keep. That's all about the covenant. Not just the original covenant, but the second covenant. Is that not beautiful? Okay, now the calendar issues. And for those of you listening, I don't argue about the calendar. I don't think any of us have it right. I don't think any of us fully understand it, because I think the heavens have gotten so out of whack and we've gotten so far off what he told us to do that I believe that when Yahushua comes back, he's going to set it all straight.
Yep.
We don't have to argue amongst ourselves. We don't have to be ugly. Listen, and we're going to get into that in Corinthians this afternoon.
It talks about everything you're talking about. Like,
Yeah.
it goes into that
We're
being
gonna be
trustworthy,
in-
all that stuff.
We're going to go into Corinthians about you think you're smart.
Yeah.
You're not smart, and there's nothing worth arguing with.
Yep.
Don't argue with a brother or sister.
Don't despise one
No.
and then love another.
Yes.
We're supposed to show love to all.
Listen, unless Yah calls, they're not going to hear your words anyway. You can't call them and make them hear. You can't go, hey, brother, listen to me.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
him want to hear you. Yah has got to get his attention first. There's nothing worth fighting over. Nothing worth fighting over with someone who's trying to understand truth.
Yep.
I may be wrong. Now listen,
No, you're
you
right.
can correct them. And Valerie, you do that a lot. You correct them. I don't see you fighting, but you try to set them straight on. Let me explain exactly what I was trying to do here. You'll set them straight. That's not an argument. You're just trying to help them understand truth. But at that point,
Yeah, you have to be careful because you can end up in a quarrel.
and guys, listen, shut it down.
Yep.
We're not going to
That's
quarrel
when you have
over
self-control.
calendar
Yep.
issues. We're not going to argue over the day that Sabbath is. We're not going to argue over the time that Sabbath starts. We're not going to argue. If you feel like you've studied it out enough and you're doing it the way you have seen fit, the way you think Yah is showing you, do it.
Then walk out your own salvation with
That-
fear and trembling.
With fear, much fear and trembling, because listen, we have to get it right, and we've gone through this a long time. So the first day was what? How did he say the first day was? There came to be evening and there came to be morning the second day. He said the same thing about the first day.
Yep.
So the you have the evening and then the morning.
Yep.
So at sunset, that's when we start Shabbat. That's when we start the next day. Some people out there started in the morning. That's fine. I'm not going to argue with them because if they're at least honoring his Shabbat, thank you, Abba. Thank you, Abba, that they're honoring your Shabbat. He will deal with us when he comes. He does know our hearts. Listen, if we're doing it out of rebellion or if we're doing it out of being ugly, he knows our hearts, and our hearts are ugly. Mine's very ugly.
And our ideas of time and space have nothing to do with it.
They have absolutely.
The realm
Yeah.
that he lives in is not as our calendar and our days. and
It
our
has nothing to
time.
do. There's no time.
Right.
This is why in the beginning he knew the end because he sees everything at one time.
Well, I mean, that goes to
There's no
show you,
time.
like NASA and all these astrologers or whatnot, they don't have the belief we have. They want to make their own belief and their own theory
They're
of what
beginning
exactly.
to get it.
Mm.
They're beginning to get it. But listen, the lies that have been told from, let's see, what did they call them? The Nahash? Right? Is that what's the serpent called?
The Nahash.
The
Yes.
Nahash. The lies that were told by Nahash the Nasa. Ooh, real close, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Nahash. Nasa. The serpent.
No. Okay, now,
Read
so now I'm going to go into what Jubilee says
the
on 26, and we just won't have to read this later. Okay. On the new moon of the fourth month, the mouth, and it actually on the new moon, in 23 it says, on the new moon of the first month, on the new moon of the fourth month, on the new moon of the seventh month, and on the new moon of the 10th month are the days of remembrance and the days of the seasons in the 4 divisions of the years. There's 4 divisions of the years.
Thank you.
There are 91 days in each division. What?
It's just crazy how man's.
Well, I didn't even realize this was up here. I went back to show y'all that what happened on the first new month. Okay, so go down to 25. And on the new moon of the first month, he was bidden to make for himself an ark. And on that day, the earth became dry. And he opened the ark and saw the earth. Oh, wait.
26.
Hmm?
Wait, what?
And on the new moon of the fourth month, the mouths of the depths of the abyss beneath were closed. And on the new moon of the seventh month, all the mouths of the abysses of the earth were opened, and the waters began to descend into them. Okay, this is when the water was draining out. Okay, and on the new moon of the 10th month, the tops of the mountains were seen, and Noach was glad. And on this account, he ordained them for himself as feasts for a memorial forever. And thus they ordained, and they placed them on the heavenly tablets. Look, heaven has got their own calendar. Isn't that cool? I wish I knew how it was worded. Okay, each had 13 weeks. Wow. Each had 13 weeks from one to another past their memorial. From the first to the second, so 13 times 4 is what? 52.
52 weeks.
There are 52 weeks in a year. There are 4 segments of the year.
So there's 13 months.
There's 13 weeks in each portion. There's 52
Oh, I see what you're
weeks.
saying. I see what you're saying. now.
And
So there's 4 seasons.
yes,
13 weeks.
there's
I
364
see
days,
what
and you're going
I
to see all this. Okay. In 30, and all the days of the commandment will be 2 and 50 weeks of days. 52 weeks. Okay? And there will make and these will make the entire year complete. Thus it is engraven and ordained on the heavenly tablets, and there is no neglecting this commandment for a single year or from year to year, and command you, the children of Yasharal, that they observe the years according to this reckoning, 364 days, and these will constitute a complete year.
Not,
And this is divisible by 7, huh?
not 365.
So,
No.
does this throw out the idea of the 13th month when needed? Or does it
Valerie,
go along with it?
well, let me finish reading this. And they will not disturb its time from its days and from its feast, for everything will fall out in them according to their testimony. And they will not leave out any day nor disturb any feast, but they will do it. But if they do neglect and do not observe them according to his commandment, then they will disturb all of their seasons, and the years will be dislodged from this order, and they will disturb the seasons, and the years will be dislodged. He repeats it, and they will neglect their ordinances. I believe what has happened is, since we haven't observed it, everything has fallen out of order.
I mean, 34 tells us.
Okay, and all the children of Yasharal will forget and will not find the path of the years, and will forget the new moons and the seasons and the Shabbatot, and they will go wrong as to all the order of the years.
Wow. That tells you right there.
That's it.
And that's where we are today,
Yep.
guys. We are very confused. We're lost. We have no idea. And so therefore,
Wow.
we're all trying our very best to celebrate. My stomach's hungry too.
I hear it.
To celebrate the festivals on the days that he's commanded us. But I believe that the moon's completely whacked out.
Yeah.
I mean, moon, come back out at night. But it tells us, let me keep going. Is this not amazing?
Well, I mean, the
It's
thing
in the
is,
beginning.
like, people could take this one way and say, "Oh, well, I don't have to follow the feast because the time's all out of whack." But if you are trying to do it, if your heart's in it, trying to, okay, well, I see the sliver. I think that's the main deal there.
Well, and we're all just coming back.
Yeah.
I mean, there is such an awakening going on that we're awakening, and we're anxious and we're excited, and we all want to do what Yah has commanded us, and we want to do it right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we get eager, and how precious is it? But I've got chill bumps.
You do.
How
They're there.
precious is it to be celebrating his festival and know that in the heavenlies, they're doing the same thing.
And then you grow each year when
Yes.
and it's
It's like
Yes.
we're one with the heaven.
This year was the first year that we've not worked on Sukkot, on the first day and the last day of Sukkot. It was the first time. And y'all were able to camp. My husband's a little bit older, so I couldn't come camp with y'all. But I got to come and spend days with y'all.
yeah, it was
And
nice.
it was beautiful. It was precious. And I was so proud of all of you and the way y'all honored y'all. It's just, guys, that's what's special. And to watch the people around the world that had honored Sukkot and spent time with Yah. And this is a time during Sukkot, it's a fall festival. Listen, you're staying in a sukkah. More than likely, this is the time that Yahushua was born. I mean, when you trace it back, you can go through all of the timelines when John was born. And you can trace it down, and it's about the same time. Okay?
Where 6 is really good. 6 is really
It
good.
is good. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and finish this because we're never gonna get to Genesis.
No, you're good.
Boy. Okay. 35. For I know, and from henceforth will I declare it unto you, and it is not of my own devising. For the Sefer lies written before me, and on the heavenly tablets the division of the days is ordered, lest they forget the feast of the covenant and walk according to the feast of other nations after their error and after their ignorance. What are we doing now? No, we're not doing it any longer.
No.
But what were we doing?
Christmas, Easter,
Well,
Halloween.
Halloween. And that one's coming up, and what an evil.
Yes.
What an
It's
evil.
tomorrow.
It's tomorrow?
I'm pretty sure.
Really?
No, it's Monday.
It's Monday.
Well,
But everybody's celebrating it tomorrow and Sunday. You know, the little town, I saw that little trick or treat thing downtown the other day when I drove by.
It's hideous.
Yes.
It's hideous. And out in front of our building, they put the ugliest, creepiest looking monster.
Why do you want to celebrate death when we're supposed to celebrate life and Yahushua, our master?
It's all about light, not
Yep.
darkness. This
Yep.
is a celebration of darkness. And
Yes.
the original, listen, live streamers, the original purpose of All Hallowed Eve was very wicked. And I believe it originated in Ireland. Am I right?
It's
With
overseas, I know that.
With that starts with the D, the somebody's gonna look it up. Valerie is, look at her. Who did, the droids. It started with the droids. And
Druids.
druids,
Yep.
the druids.
Ugh.
So they would go out, they would have a boiling pot of apples and hot liquid, and they would go and knock on the door, knock, knock, knock. Who's
Hi. Who's there? Sorry.
Hello.
How are you doing?
We're celebrating our annual Halloween, Hallowed Eve, and we need you to volunteer someone to go and dunk for apples.
Would you like my child?
I love your child. Yes.
Okay,
Let me
there
do
you
which
go.
one.
And what do we do on Halloween? We dunk for apples.
We dunk for
do it-
apples. We
it's
do
a traditional thing.
exactly what they did. We're
But-
following the traditions of
Men. But
Men.
we won't do this.
no. Who wants to do Sukkot?
He wants to do rules.
Those aren't for us.
Listen, I'm going to tell you something.
God, this is so deep.
Yes, they are.
This is so deep.
Listen. Wait, where is that? Oh, is it in Corinthians? Is it in 4th Corinthians where it says that it's not about, oh my goodness, I've got to find that.
Traditions.
It's not about blood.
Oh, that's in the one.
It's what we're reading today,
I
and
think it is.
it has nothing to do with your bloodline. It's about who chooses to be Israel. Blood has nothing to do with it. So he's talking to Yasharal. You choose to be Yasharal just as Ruth chose to be Israel. You've changed your bloodline.
Yep.
You are now Israel. You're no longer a Moabite banned from entering the temple. And you're now in the lineage of our Messiah and our Savior in the right arm of Yah. Okay, I'm sorry. Boy,
You're good.
Good.
we're so getting off the trail, aren't we?
And we're only in the first chapter. Just joking.
Yeah, we haven't even, we've only got 10 more to go. It's okay. We can get through this. But how
Do y'all, we can do anything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. For 36, for there will be those who assuredly make observations of the moon, how it disturbs the seasons and comes in from year to year, 10 days too soon. For this reason, the years will come upon them when they will disturb the order and make an abominable day, the day of testimony, and an unclean day, a feast day, and they will confound all the days, the holy with the unclean, the unclean day with the holy, for they will go wrong as to the months and the Sabbatot, the Sabbaths, and the feast and the jubilees. So guys, I mean, we may have everything wrong right now.
Yeah.
We may have it all wrong. But what I do know is he says work 6 days and the 7th day you rest. And we're going to clear up, people say, oh, even in the ISR Bible, it says he finished his work on the 7th day. No, he didn't. No, he finished his work on the 6th day.
Right.
The 7th day he rested. So we're going to clear that one up because people go, oh no, Yahweh, he worked on the 7th day. No, he didn't.
How do you look at the count? If you look at a calendar, it starts on Sunday
Yes,
and it ends on Saturday.
it does. But we don't know how much has been
Yeah,
tampered.
I know. I'm
And
just
so
throwing that out there.
we're doing,
The best.
Yeah.
and 300 years before Yahushua came, they were doing exactly what we're doing now. Okay, so we're doing what Yahushua did. This is the same day he celebrated the Sabbath. So we're celebrating now on the same day that he celebrated it. Nothing's changed in that time period. From then till now, it's the same 6 days, 7th day. Same thing, okay? So we're at least in good company. Okay. Okay, I'm in 37. For this reason, the years will come upon them when they will disturb the order and make an abominable day, the day of testimony, and an unclean day, a feast day, and they will confound all the days, the holy with the unclean, and the unclean day with the holy, for they will go wrong as to the months, and the Sabbaths, and the feast, and the jubilees. For this reason, I command and testify to you that you may testify to them. For after your death, your children will disturb them, so that they will not make the year 364 days only. And for this reason, they will go wrong to the new moons and the seasons. And new moons can actually be new months. The new months and the seasons and the Sabbaths and the feasts, and they will eat all kinds of blood with all kinds of flesh. And he's telling this to Moshe, isn't he? Or Enoch?
65. We've already.
Yeah, we messed it up with 365 days. Of course, we are on the Hebrew calendar. On the Hebrew calendar, today's the second day of the 8th month, right? Okay. Okay, here we go. Back into Genesis. Guys, do y'all have any questions or anything to add to what we just read?
I'm
No?
just glad you explained that 10th month thing because I couldn't figure out what that was. And I was looking at it from the feast, the 1st, the 4th, the 7th. And so thank you for clearing that because in my mind, I wanted to know what that 10th month represented. It was the equinoxes and the solstices.
Yes.
So that's where that comes from. I couldn't see
Well,
that.
it actually comes from Noach.
Right.
It comes from Noach first. And it just happens to be that after the day of the equinox, and after the day of the summer solstice, and after the day of the winter solstice, and after the day of the fall equinox.
It's new beginnings there for that.
It was new beginnings.
That's so cool.
Almost
it-
all of them revolve around feast day.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what's really cool.
Yep.
So y'all, everything in y'all's world is circular.
Right.
Everything comes back around, happens again and again, and so it's just beautiful. To me, it's just beautiful. Okay.
It's like an eyeball, or the apple of his eye.
Oh,
And it's like a big eyeball. Like he sees everything we do because we're in his eyes.
that is really cool. He has us inscribed on the palm of his hand. He has a tattoo. No, I'm kidding.
Oh.
She did not mean that.
I did not mean that. I was kidding. We don't etch in our bodies.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
No.
Okay. Now, let us go to Genesis 2. We're fixing to start making some headways. Okay. I'm going to start with 1. And listen, this is the first time his name is revealed, is in 2:4. His name is actually revealed here. But in 2:1, thus the heavens and the earth were completed and all their array. And in the 7th day, Elohim completed his work. What? Our Father did not break his own commands. I'm telling you. His work which he had done, and he rested on the 7th day from all his work which he had made. Would you turn to Jubilees 2? And,
Yep. I got it.
Okay. And you're going to start in 16.
2:16. All right. And he finished all his work on the 6th day. All that is in the heavens and on the earth, and in the seas, and in the abysses, and in the light, and in the darkness, and in everything. And he gave us a great sign, the Shabbat day, that we should work 6 days, but keep Shabbat on the 7th day from all work.
I'm going to read it from the
Go ahead.
Sefer. It says, but guard. We're to guard the Sabbath on the 7th day from all work.
Sorry.
Well,
I was like,
well, I mean, keep it.
No, I meant,
mean,
like, wow. Yeah, it's better. I
yeah.
like guard better than keep.
I like guard.
Well, we're
because
supposed to guard the commands.
we're supposed to
and-
be willing to fight for them.
Guard the 7th day.
Just as you
Set
would
it
fight for
apart.
your children to protect them, we should be that willing to fight for our commandments. And this one is a sign. He gave us a.
Proverbs just says by the 7th day. He finished it by.
Oh wow!
So it says before.
But- Before.
See how this
So
much
see-
this
see
is
how
watered
they
down and
twisted
polluted.
that?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's watered down so much that it makes it.
Translation.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's Satan, dude. I'm telling you.
Wow. Hey, listen, if you've got the Targum open, when you see things, bring them up. Okay? So he gave us as a great sign the Sabbath, that we should work 6 days, but guard the Shabbat on the seventh day from all work. And all, listen to this, all of the angels of the presence and all the angels of sanctification, these 2 great classes, he has bidden us to guard the Shabbat with him in heaven and on earth. We are guarding the Shabbat with them. Guys, do you even understand that the very creation that surrounds him, the angels of sanctification,
We're being a part of that.
we're a part of
Yeah.
it.
And that should make you, yeah.
And he said unto us, behold, I will separate unto myself a people from among all the peoples, and these shall guard the Sabbath, and I will sanctify them unto myself as my people, and I will bless them as I have sanctified the Sabbath, and do sanctify it unto myself. Even so I will bless them, and they will be my people, and I will be their Elohim. He said, I have chosen the seed of Yaakov from amongst all that I have seen, and have written him down as my firstborn son, and I have sanctified him unto myself forever and ever. And I will teach them the Sabbath, that they may guard the Sabbath thereon from all work. And thus he created therein a sign in accordance with which they should guard the Sabbath with us on the Sabbath day, to eat and to drink and to bless him who has created all things, as he has blessed and sanctified unto himself a peculiar people above all the peoples, and that they should guard the Sabbath together with us. Isn't that beautiful? And I want to read one more portion here. And he caused his commands to ascend as a sweet savor, acceptable before him all the days. There were, guys, listen to this. There were 22 heads of mankind, from Adam to Yaakov. Did y'all hear that?
2 and 20.
That's 22 alphabets.
Yes. And there were 22 kinds of work were made until the seventh day, and this is blessed and holy. There were also 22 different animals that he created.
I read that last night. I thought that was interesting.
22 different species. So 22. So for those of you who don't know, there are 22 alphabets. The alphabet consists of 22
Letters.
consonants. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing? So I love the way you put that together.
What happened?
I was getting excited, and then you were like, "Oh, I'm getting there," and I was like, "Okay, I'll be patient with you."
Well, that's why I was like, listen, I thought you already found some other great, exciting
No,
thing.
those ones
You were
really
already on
on
that trail. I love it. I love it.
Wow.
So 22.
Yeah, 23.
22 Aleph? No, there were
It's in
22
verse 24.
alphabets.
There were 2 and 22 heads of mankind from Adam to Yaakov. Well, there's 22 letters in the
Alphabets.
alphabet. Yeah.
Really?
What does
Yes, and there's
Oh, wow.
22 animals. Look at what she said.
and there's 22 animals.
There's 22 species?
of animals, but
Yeah.
there's also 22
Kinds of words.
kinds of work. He
Yeah,
said,
in 23 you're reading that. It's 7th day.
Isn't that crazy how it all kind of
Wow.
relates with him? The Aleph through the Tav. He's from the beginning to the end.
He's everything.
Just like
guys,
perfect.
everything surrounds he and the commandments that he gave us and the way he set everything up. How far have we strayed from there?
Oh, man.
How far have we strayed from there? So, I mean, we're in the beginning, and we are still seeing that. Even in my favorite Bible, which is the Isar,
It's
still not right.
it's polluted.
So we have to go and we have to dig and we have to hunt. We have to go back to the books that were removed to
Yeah.
find the fullness of the truth. We've got the Targums here. We've got all these books opened. Thank you, Yah,
Yes.
that
Right.
you have surrounded me with people who dig and they hunt and they hunger for the truth, because that's what it's about.
Thank you for these books, extra books to fill it in
Yes.
to help us know what's true and what's not.
Guys, where did these books come from? I want to. Well, I wasn't even gonna go here, but let's just go there. Let's just go there. So, when Jerusalem was destroyed the last time, what happened? It may have been the first time. Maybe the first time. It was the first time. When it was destroyed by Babylon and they took off no, they didn't burn off. It was Rome. It was the second time it was destroyed. They destroyed they destroyed all of the books. Let's see. Wow. You know what? We're not going to go there because we've got too much to go through. But Yah commissioned Ezra and 4 or 5 of his buddies to go off, set themselves apart, get away from all the people, and they did nothing but write. They restored all the writings of the Torah, the Tanakh, and they came up with, I think there's 22 books. There were originally 22 books.
Yes,
There were 22 books in the Tanakh.
Yes.
Guys, write down the 22. Write
Put them
down.
all down.
Okay.
So there's
Have
22
you
in
put the
Tanakh?
verses where they were found?
No.
Jubilees 23.
Jubilee
Six.
6:23.
Or 6? Yeah, it was 6.
Six.
23.
But there are 22. What did I
No,
just say?
it's Jubilees 2, chapter 2.
Oh, I did put that. I put 2:16 through 25, but I'll just put this 6.
It says in 22, there were 2 and 22 heads of mankind in autumn, from autumn.
Okay.
24.
And so originally, First and Second Kings were one book. First and Second Chronicles were one
Samuel.
book. First and Second Samuel, one book. So there were 22 books in the Tanakh. So we will get to that later, man. You see there, guys. Do you see why it takes us so long? Because there's just so much to cover. So much to cover. Okay, 2:22 of Genesis. We're gonna get through this, guys. I'm telling you, we're gonna get through this. This is really cool. Yeah, hold on just a second. In 8, it says, and Elohim, Yahweh Elohim planted a garden in Eden. Who was the gardener? Yah. Yah planted the garden. Who did Mary think Yahushua was when he was in the garden? She thought he was a gardener. How cool is that? He was a gardener. He planted the garden in Eden. Okay. Gosh, there's so much in this that I hate skipping anything. Okay, yeah, go ahead and read 16.
16 through what?
No, not 16.
22.
Read 18. Yeah, read 18
25.
through 24.
Okay.
25, yes.
And Yahuwah Elohim said, it is not good for man to be alone. I'm going to make him a helper for him. I'm going to make a helper for him as his counterpart. And from the ground, Yahuwah Elohim.
Hold on just a second.
Yes, ma'am.
He didn't say as his servant.
No, he did not say his
He
servant,
said as
slave,
his counterpart,
helper.
as his helpmate.
Yes.
So when a man is walking forward, who's got his backside?
His wife.
His wife does.
Yep. She
Guys,
covers him.
And I'm speaking to you men out there.
Yeah.
Don't treat your wife as a slave girl.
No,
Yeah.
That's not,
that's not the way it's supposed to be.
not
And I've
you
been.
work
Can I
together.
say something real quick?
Yes.
I was not raised on how to. My father wasn't a great example for how I was supposed to treat my wife, but I didn't see the fullness. He was in actual some aspects, but the way is to do it, and it's in the Bible how you're supposed to treat your wife. You're supposed to love her, and she will respect you, and that coincides love and respect, and it just crashes together. And
How are
that's
you
where
supposed to love her?
you're supposed to love her by providing for her, being her helper,
hold on.
or not helper.
How much did Yahusha love his bride?
Yes.
Lay down his life.
Yes,
He laid down his life.
sacrificed.
He laid down his life for his bride.
Yep.
And he said we are to love our friends enough to lay down our life
Yep.
for our friends.
That's in John. Yep.
So that's how much you're supposed to love your wife so much. I mean, you're
I'll lay
supposed to
down my
love her
life
enough
for her.
that you would lay down your life
Oh,
for
yeah.
her. and she's to respect you.
Yeah.
And how easy is it for you to love someone when they're respecting you and honoring you?
It's 10 times easier. Yep.
Guys,
That's something that we're working through, and it's amazing. Like it really is.
Yeah. it's
We
really-
He
are
knew what he was
we're working
doing.
it out. I'm not gonna lie. Like it's not.
Don't
we just
lie to
stop fighting. I mean, we're always gonna fight. That's just part of marriage. But it's a lot easier now that we're coming together and we're seeing it from both angles. Like she's seeing it from my point of view, and I'm seeing it from her point of view.
Instead of fighting apart.
Yes.
Yeah.
And fighting
Always
against each
fight
other.
apart, and now we see each other's flaws. Like we see our own flaws instead of seeing each other's.
Yep.
Oh, that's good.
Yep. Like the other day, I apologized for her. I was like, man, you know what? I said, Bethany,
Yep.
I apologize because I'm the one that said, hey, I just wanted to fix the problem. Hey, let's just go to the hospital, fix that real quick. Instead of praying, sitting there praying for you, telling you we can get this through this. Instead of just doing that. I saw that last night and I apologized to her. Because
Wow.
like usually I won't see my own wrongs because I'll just put up, oh,
And that just
I'm
came out
good.
of nowhere. Like I wasn't even mad at him
Yeah.
holding that over him, and the fact that he saw that, it really like touched me, and I was like, wow, okay.
And that's
'Cause
the
he
good
loves
thing.
you.
Yep.
He's willing to lay down his pride.
I'll lay it
Listen,
down.
to lay down yourself means to lay down your pride,
Yep.
your emotions, your
Put all that
feelings, your
aside
desires.
And let
You lay
y'all
it all down.
lay down and let y'all.
Who were you acting like? Yahusha. So as we walk out the Torah, as we walk it out day by day, learning and growing, and every week I see y'all, you're different. You're growing. You kids are growing. You're getting taller. No, spiritually you're growing. You're growing. As you do that, you're imitating Paul. And you're imitating Yahusha. And guess what? Yahweh says, be set apart as
For
I am
us.
set apart. We're to imitate them all. Okay.
18.
Yes, go for
Or
it.
I went to 19. Sorry. And from the ground Yahuwah Elohim formed every beast of the field and every bird of the heavens and brought them to the man to see what he would call them. And whatever the man called each living being, that was its name. So male and female. That's what he made, not pronoun and pronoun. I'm sorry. I'm just being
No,
honest.
you're
Like,
right.
I'm a he, she.
Yeah. So the man gave names to all the livestock, and to the birds of the heavens, and to every beast of the field. But for the man, there was not found a helper for him as his counterpart. So
Thank you.
Yahuwah,
I'm very thankful for that.
so Yahuwah Elohim caused a deep sleep to fall upon the man, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh in its place. And the rib of which Yahuwah Elohim taken from the man, he made it into a woman, and he brought her to the man. And the man said, this is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. This one is called woman, because she was taken out of man. For this cause a man shall leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. And they were both naked, and the man and his wife, yet they were not ashamed.
Because they were innocent still.
Yep.
They had not eaten from
So
the tree.
proven guilty
But guys,
when they ate.
do you think that y'all really said, okay, Adam, just name these critters?
Yep.
He didn't.
No, he did not.
In the first book of Adam and Hua, in chapter 7, verse 4, this is Adam, and he said, your grace was in on me, and I named everyone according to your mind, and you made them all subject to me.
Wow.
So they were so much in communion that when y'all brought him the elephant and said, what are you going to name this thing? He was like, y'all would name it elephant.
Well, it's not. Do you think, did they speak in Hebrew in the garden? Oh, okay.
Hebrew was the original language. Yes, ma'am.
There was a little part in the Talmud right before this that I just thought was interesting. And the Lord God took the man from the mountain of worship where he had been created and made him dwell in the garden of Eden to do service in the law and to keep his commandments.
Ooh.
This is all through the creation.
Yeah, commandments were. Yep.
I mean, last night I just kept seeing the creation. It even
Wow.
refers to the tree of life. as the law. The law is the tree of life.
Wow.
And according to the Palestinian Targums. Yes.
So the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, was it part of the law as well?
It doesn't mention it as that. Wait,
Well,
we
listen,
get there.
listen, the Torah brings life.
Yeah.
Yes.
It blesses you. It protects you. It brings you life.
That's what
It turns you into
your.
Yahusha. It turns you into the image of Yahusha. Makes you weird and peculiar. You're peculiar.
It's fun.
I thought that was really cool how many times he mentioned that, even in the beginning, that was what they were created to do.
That's what. Listen, that's what we were created to do. To love Him. What does He tell us that His will for us is? Y'all know this.
Guard
Deuteronomy 10. To what? 10:12. Y'all are so good. And now, Yisrael, what is Yahweh your Elohim asking of you? But to fear Yahweh your Elohim, to walk in all of His ways, and to love Him, and to serve Yahweh your Elohim with all of your heart and with all of your being, to guard the commands of Yahweh and His laws, which I command you today for your good. It's for your good. So we were born to do that. We were born to do that in the garden. That is beautiful. To walk out His Torah in the garden.
That's what we'll do for all eternity.
Oh, I look forward to it. Can you imagine doing it without someone saying, look at how legalistic you are?
Where no one has to teach his neighbor, where it's written on their hearts and they walk it out daily.
Yes.
That's who He's bringing in the kingdom.
That's what it'll
I
be
love
like.
it.
Yeah. Everything will be brought out of the darkness into the light. So we'll know everything. We'll see everything that way that Yahusha has seen everything. And everything. I don't know. I saw something one time. It looked like when he gave Enoch all the knowledge of the earth and whatnot, right? So he saw the trees,
Yes.
how they were formed, and what their
Yes.
purpose was, and all that. I was just like, wow! Can you just sit there, imagine just looking at a tree and just see its whole purpose played out between like why it does the
I've
things.
never
that
thought about that.
It's
Well, and He
amazing.
showed him the trees in the garden.
Yep.
And he was like, oh, what's the name of this tree?
Yep.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
He's like, why do you want to know the name of this tree? Why do you ask so many questions? Enoch's like, oh, the fragrance is so good. Okay, we're going to get through this before 2 hours. It's an hour and 17 minutes. I've been challenged. Okay, we're in chapter 3.
Sorry, it's funny.
We only have 8 more to go. Okay. Chapter 3 in the Nahash. Chapter 3, verse 4. The Nahash said to the woman, you shall certainly, I'm going to have to start. Start at 1. And the Nahash was more crafty than all the lives of the field which Yahweh had made. And he said to the woman, is it true that Elohim has said, do not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said to the Nahash, we are to eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Elohim has said, do not eat of it, nor touch it, lest you die. So he didn't tell anything to Adam about touching it, did he? He just said, do not eat from this tree. But Eve wasn't there when he told him that. He gave him that command before, right? And then Nahash said to the woman, you shall not certainly die. Liar, liar. What he knew is that, well, listen to this. He said, for Elohim knows that in the day that you eat, your eyes shall be opened, and you shall be like Elohim, knowing good from evil. Listen, this wasn't about eating something. This isn't about putting something in your mouth and eating it. It's about what did she try to do? What she want to do?
Be like Elohim.
She wanted to be like Elohim. What did Hasatan want to do?
Be like Elohim.
Be like Elohim. And it caused his fall, right? Okay, let's go quickly to the first book of Adam and Hua.
What chapter?
Chapter 6. Chapter 6, Okay, but Elohim looked at them, for they had killed themselves through great grief. I think my wheel has come off. For he decided to raise them and comfort them. He therefore sent his word to them. Guys, from the very beginning after the fall, Yah sent his word, the right arm of his salvation, his Torah. He sent his Torah to them, that they should stand and be raised immediately. And Yahweh said to Adam and Noah, you transgressed of your own free will until you came out of the garden in which I had placed you. Of your own free will have you transgressed. Guys, Satan tempted them and he pulled them that direction. Did you change chairs? You are such a bad person.
No, look, I'm lean back on. Actually,
When we sin, is somebody back there with a gun making you sin?
no, we choose it.
We choose it. And this is what he's telling them. You chose. You knew. You chose.
You did it anyway.
He said, through your desire, listen to this. Of your own free will have you transgressed through your desire for divinity, for greatness, for an exalted state such as I have, so that I deprived you of the bright nature in which you were then. He said, and I made you come out of the garden to this land, rough and full of trouble. If only you had not transgressed my commandment and had guarded my Torah and had not eaten of the fruit of the tree which I told you not to go near. He did tell him not to touch it. He said, don't go near it. And there were, listen to this, there were fruit trees in the garden, way better than that one.
Mm-hmm.
But the wicked Satan did not keep his belief and had no good intention towards me, that although I had created him, he considered me to be useless and saw Elohim for himself. And for this I hurled him down from heaven, so that he could not remain in his first estate. The difference between Hasatan and us is that Hasatan does not get a second chance. Mankind does. After 5,500 years, he will get a chance to redeem. It was he who made the tree appear pleasant in your eyes until you ate of it by believing his words. Thus you have transgressed my commandment, and therefore I have brought on you all these sorrows. So guys, we choose good and evil.
Yes.
We choose to sin or not to sin. We choose to
Life and
obey
death.
or not.
You choose life and death.
We choose life and death. Every day you get to choose, but make sure you choose wisely, right?
Yes.
Huh?
Just like from the very beginning, she had a chance to choose good or evil, and she chose the wrong thing to do. He said not
She
to do.
did. She believed. She wanted. Listen, the Watchers did the same thing. They wanted to be like y'all. They wanted to procreate. We're going to see that today. They wanted to be able to procreate. That's what they did.
What's
It wasn't that they wanted to have sex. They had never had sex. It wasn't about the sex. It was about procreating.
Making them into something.
They
that
wanted to make a living being, just like y'all did.
Yep.
Gotcha.
That's being like, yeah.
That's like being like y'all. Everything is about, everybody wants to be like y'all, right?
I think we do that too I do. I try to take control of situations, and I try to put myself in that position of when I should be trying to be more like him, not to take his role in my life.
Yes, all of us.
Yes.
This is a lesson for all of us. So they rationalized the lie, which got us all booted out of the garden. And listen, had Abba left them in the garden, they had already eaten from the tree of good and evil.
Yeah.
What else would they have eaten from? The tree of life. And then they would have lived forever in that sinful state. So he had to get them out. Okay, we're now in chapter 4. Ha ha. What is chapter 4 about?
Cain and Abel.
It is Cain and Abel. So what did Cain do for a living? He tilled the ground.
Yeah.
What did Abel do?
Keep of the sheep.
He was a keeper of the sheep.
Why?
A guy after my own heart. He was a shepherd. Huh?
I said, wow.
Yes. He was a shepherd. And so he was a shepherd. Cain was a farmer. And if you go to the book of Adam and Eve, you see that there was a lot of jealousy between Abel between Cain and Abel. Cain was very jealous of Abel.
Yes.
Abel loved to make offerings to Yah. He loved to praise Yah. He loved to spend time with Yah. Cain did not. And his heart was not right. And this is why he slew Abel. Let's look at, look at verse 2. Again, she gave birth to his brother Habel, and Habel became a keeper of the sheep, but Cain became a tiller of the ground. And let's go down to verse 6. And Yahweh said to Cain, why, listen, this is not worded properly. He said, why are you wroth towards him? Not why is he wroth towards you. He's talking to Cain. Why are you wroth towards him? And why is your face fallen? Is it not, if you do good, you are to be accepted? And if you do not do good, towards the door is a sin. He is lying, and towards you is his desire, and you must rule over him. So he's telling him, look, you need to do what's right. You need to choose to do what's good. But Cain didn't. What did Cain do? Cain chose to kill his little brother, didn't he? It was jealousy. Yah accepted. So what does Yah want? If you're, he wants our first fruits. That's right. Does he want you to bring them grudgingly?
No.
Okay, so when we do an in-depth study in the Targum, does it say anything about Cain's offerings? In the book of Adam and Hua, it does. It says that.
Oh.
What?
So,
Okay,
one thing that was, the 14th day of Nisan, that's Passover, right?
That is preparation day
Preparation day?
for Pesach.
That was the day that Abel brought forth the shepherd of the flock, or gave his
Really?
flock, and it was the end of the days of the 14th day. Nisan Cain brought the product of the earth and the seed of cotton. On that day, they brought their offering. 14th
Wow.
day of Nisan.
And what did Cain bring?
Cain brought forth the produce of the earth, the seed of the cotton, an oblation of firstlings for the Lord. Abel brought forth the firstling of his flocks and of their fat, and was pleasing to the Lord. And he gave countenance to Abel his, but to Cain, he gave no countenance. That's really
Okay.
what it kind of says.
So, if when you go to the book of Adam and Hua, I'm not sure. Let me see. Well, it's actually in the book of Yasher. Yasher, I think it's 1:15. The book of Yasher.
Yeah,
Is that where it is?
Cain, Abel.
In the book, okay. In Yasher, the first chapter, verse 14, it says, and the boys grew up, and their father gave them a possession in the land, and Cain was a tiller of the ground, and Havel a keeper of the sheep. And it was at the expiration of a few days they brought an approximating offering to Yahweh. And Cain brought from the fruit of the ground, and Havel brought from the firstlings of his flock, from the fat thereof. And Elohim turned and inclined to Havel and his offering. And fire came down from Yahweh, from heaven, and consumed it. And unto Cain and his offering Yahweh did not turn, and he did not incline to it, for he had brought from the inferior fruit of the ground before Yah.
He brought a strange fire.
Huh?
He brought like a strange fire. That's what it kind of seems like. Like, you know how it says in Deuteronomy, or
He brought blemished fruit.
yeah. So
He didn't bring the best of his fruit.
Mhm.
But go ahead.
the like strange fire when it needed. What was the two Aaron's sons? They brought the strange fire. You know, like drunkenness or whatever. He brought something that was not of y'all too.
Well, Yah wants the best. He said, don't bring me a lame lamb. Don't bring me blemished fruit. And he brought him inferior fruit of the ground before Yahweh. And Cain was jealous against his brother Havel on account of this. And he sought a pretext to slay him. This is what it was all about. He was jealous because he was not willing to do what Abel did. Abel brought him the finest of his flock. pleasing to Yah, with a heart that loved Yah. But what did Cain do?
He brought whatever.
He kept the good for himself,
Because he's greedy.
and he didn't love Yah. That's
He wanted it all to himself.
it's all about love. If you love Abba Yah, you're gonna bring him the best of the best.
Your first fruit.
That's right. That's
In the
it,
morning.
Bethany. Yes.
And at
Ooh,
evening.
I like that. Your first fruit in the morning. I love
From
that.
the beginning and to the end.
Yes.
He wants your first and he wants your last too, right before you go to bed. He
That
wants
is
everything.
beautiful. He wants it all.
He really wants all of us.
That is
The
beautiful.
good, the bad, and the ugly.
Okay, so now that we see, I've heard it said so many times. Oh, it says the first book of Adam and Eve. It was in 74, 6-7. Can you pull that one up? Where's this book?
Okay, good. Just don't want to read them.
I know it's hard, isn't it? First book of Adam and Eve, 74, verse 6-7. Guys, it's important the way we give to y'all and the heart we give with.
First book of Adam and Eve.
74, verse 6-7.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
This numbers, it's a lot. 74, 6-7. And I rejoice at who's that?
Hua,
At
Eve.
who was deliverance, and also over the children she had borne him. And Adam ministered to Hua in the cave until the end of the 8 days, when they named the son Canaan and his daughter Lulawa. I didn't know the daughter. Okay. And the meaning of Canaan is hater, because he hated
Oh gosh, I
Yeah.
knew it!
because he hated his sister in their mother's womb, because they came out of it. Therefore Adam named named him Canaan. And
The hater.
I didn't know they had a daughter.
They had 9
I
daughters.
did not know that.
And that came from Jubilees,
Wow.
actually. That it goes on to say that I think they had 9 daughters, and I forget how many sons.
Wow.
And I may be wrong. I'm going by memory, and you know me. I'm older. My memory's not so good.
Remember the word.
Okay, let's go to 5.
5 what? Oh, chapter 5.
Look, we're making progress, guys. I'm going to ask y'all a question. Who were the 2 oldest men in scriptures?
Methuselah
That's one.
and
Noah?
Noah.
Enoch was not. Enoch was
he-
one of
he
the
went up.
youngest.
Wait,
No.
No, it
Noah?
was not.
No.
Methuselah and
Who was Enoch's father?
Lamech?
No, that was
Enoch's father. Okay.
Enoch. Jared.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
And go to
900.
Genesis 5:20.
Okay. So all the days of Jared were 962 years, and he died. That is true.
Okay, and go to 5:27.
527. Read through 527.
No, just go to 5:27.
So all the days of Methuselah were 969 years, and he died.
These were the 2 oldest gentlemen in the scriptures. Listen, what is crazy is no one has ever lived to be a day old. Not even one person has made it to
1,000
be
years.
1 day old.
That was
Yes.
very good.
Is that not crazy?
Imagine how long that is, because
Yes.
nowadays time is going faster, but think of it how
Slow.
slow it is.
Hmm?
So,
What?
I don't know. Say it again. Don't doubt yourself. Say it.
do you and just think about how long that would be? 900.
Oh yeah.
69 years. Okay, so I'm
Without
coming up
counting
close to the 69 years. I can't even imagine adding 900 years to
You're like a vampire.
it.
Don't put
I would look like a
No,
vampire.
I said we would be like a vampire, not you.
But think
Oh,
how young their bodies were at 100. Or
Well, that goes back to well, Vicky knows somebody that. Where was that guy that y'all met? That the air, the quality of the whole earth was different back then.
oh, it was
Double
Dr. Ball
Mhm.
from Prairie View or Grandview, from Grandview, I believe, up around Dallas. He was an archaeologist, and he actually basically said that before the flood, the earth was more compact because it broke apart. So it was more compact. The oxygen was purer. Everything was bigger. The
No fossil fuel.
the grass, all of that. Well, fossil fuels came after all of that was compressed.
Yep.
Yep.
So you could breathe better, you live longer,
Yes.
and that's the
No GMO.
So you know what? You know what he did? He created an oxygen chamber where he tried to recreate the same
atmosphere.
atmosphere that they had when what they believe was before the earth, and they can figure all this out by the oxygen content in the fossilized plants that were compressed. Okay.
Wow.
That is so cool.
So they recreated this chamber and they put snakes in it. I'm like, why would you put snakes in there? Poisonous snakes. Why would you put poisonous snakes? Who wants a poisonous snake to live longer? Not me. But they put them in there, and I think after 7 generations of snakes, the poisonous. So he showed us what the blood looked like on poisonous snakes, and it was just all gnarly. The snakes were not poisonous any longer. They had lost their ability, and they were not as aggressive. So I think he put copperheads, and he put like rattlesnakes and something else
That is
in
so
there.
cool.
And so they changed. Is that not amazing?
Yes.
In a perfect environment.
Yep.
And it wasn't but just a few degrees more oxygen. That's what was wild. Okay, so I just wanted to show y'all who's the oldest. Now we're going to Genesis 6, 1 through 4.
Oh, more than halfway there. Nikki.
We're going to make it. Would you read that?
Yes. And it came to be when men began to increase on the face of the earth, and the daughters were born to them, the sons of Elohim saw that the daughters of men, that they were good, that they took wives for themselves of all of them they chose, all of whom they chose. And Yahuwah said, my spirit shall not strive with man forever in his going astray. He is flesh, and all his days shall be 120 years. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of Elohim came into the daughters of men, they bore children to them. Those were the mighty men who were of old, the men of name.
Okay, I've got to explain something here. Okay, 120 years is going to be the maximum. I don't know that many people who have reached 120 years.
No.
Back then, though, there were men that made it. Yaakov lived to be, what, 170 something? Moshe, how old was he?
120.
120. All these men lived that age, but think of it this way. At that time, he said, I won't tolerate men over 120 years. Use the Jubilee year. 50 Jubilee,
Oh, wow.
50 years per 120. Tell me what that is.
50 times 120?
Uh-huh.
6,000.
Yes. She didn't use a calculator.
I am.
6,000 years.
6,000.
Cheater. Bailey, high five.
Good job, Bailey.
Yes,
Do
Bailey.
the jellyfish.
Do the jellyfish?
Jellyfish.
I can do that. I can do
Or
that.
windy day.
Okay, I can. I'm very old, so I'm having to get with this. Okay, so guys, listen. I forgot what we were doing.
We
Oh,
were talking about-
6,000 years. 6,000 years. So from the time of Adam and Hua, 6,000 years till he comes back for us. 6 days you work. 6 years you work. 7th year is the Shabbat year, right? We're supposedly in a Jubilee year right now. We shouldn't have to work. We're in a secular world. If we don't work, we're going to lose our house, and we won't get to eat, and we don't have wheels. We don't live in community like they did back then, because society has created such a need to work, where even sometimes we have to send our kids out to work. Kids, did y'all know that your dad's just going to send y'all out to get a job?
I don't know.
Oh, wait, he already did you. But I mean, things are not the same as they were back then. But so 6,000 years we work, What happens the 7,000th year?
We read.
We tabernacle with Yahusha for 1,000 years. And people are going to live to be over 1,000 years old during that time, won't they? Isn't that cool? Okay, now the Nephilim. These are the fallen angels, and we could go into a whole huge thing, but we're not going to. But this is where the dinosaurs came from, guys. As you will notice, Noah didn't take any dinosaurs on his ship, on his ark, did he?
Mm-mm.
No. There weren't any Tyrannosauruses or pterodactyls or any of this on there. Huh? There wasn't a T-Rex.
The people said that chickens are from. That ain't true.
A chicken, well, I tell you, I had a chicken bite me last time, and I think he was part of a T-Rex.
And if anyone wants any in-depth studies on these, they are on the YouTube channel, the Nephilim, and even these Torah portions that you're getting the highlights on. They're both in-depth on the Way of Truth through Torah YouTube channel.
We have done studies on both of these on the Way of Truth through Torah, and they're on the YouTube channels. Valerie, can you link those on here? Valerie knows everything. I can't do anything.
Yeah, you can.
I couldn't even send an email the other day. For 2 days, I had to wait till she came back home from Arkansas to send. I was like, I can't even email.
You can.
Okay.
I'm just building you up, sorry.
What?
I'm just trying to build you up.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That does help. Okay, guys, we're coming into, well, we're not going to have time to go into Noah, are we?
Mhm.
Genesis 6:8. What does that say?
But Noah found favor in the eyes of Yahuwah.
What's favor?
That is
Grace.
grace.
Favor is earned,
Yes, it
guys.
is.
Yeah, that's
Grace
why
is
he
earned.
found favor in him.
That's
He
right.
earned it.
And listen, I'm going to tell you something. If you're not trying, you're not going to get grace.
No. You have to put forth the effort to get something. Like, I mean, you think about that in life in general. I mean, okay, am I gonna? I have to work to get paid. If I don't work, guess
Who
what?
made that rule up?
You ain't gonna get paid. You
That's
know what I
right.
mean? I mean, it's just
Yeah, you can look
that's
at
common
it from a
sense.
fleshly point
Yeah.
of view of working.
Yeah.
And you get paid after you.
That's right.
If I do not do the commands, if I don't guard and do them, if I don't put forth the effort, I'm not gonna get in the kingdom.
If you don't put forth the effort to walk out the Torah, you're not going to have His grace that will enable you to walk them
Exactly.
out.
And
You've got to take that first step and commit to starting that walk.
Yep.
And this is what I hear all the time. Nobody can do that. It's too hard. Nobody can be obedient to those commands.
have you tried?
They haven't tried. They don't even know what they are.
Well, I think there's two different types of grace, though, too, because I think that and this is just my opinion. I think that there's a grace of Satan and then there's a grace of Yah. I think, like, for instance, I might want to say, "Oh man, I need a new house." Well, Satan will give you that house. Yah will make you content with what you have. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I think that's a big deal.
I don't think that's a grace.
Right, really?
I think it's more like an answering of prayers
Oh, I see what you're saying.
to make you.
Because you can be praying to the other one.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not praying out His will, if you're not walking out His Torah, and you're praying, more than likely you're not praying to the right.
Yeah. To the right Father.
Abba, your Abba may be.
To destruct.
You've only got two fathers. There's only you're following one of two in this world.
One or two
You're either
masters.
following Yahweh or you're following Satan.
You either good or you evil.
You're
There you
either gonna
go.
Love one master or hate the other.
You will love one and hate the other, or hate the one and love the other. So you can only serve. You can't eat at the table of demons and the table of Yah. Doesn't work, does it? Okay. So Noah has found grace. I want to ask you a question. Who was Noah's great-grandfather?
Lamech or Methuselah.
That was his grandfather,
You know?
Enoch. Okay. Do you think that Enoch... Okay, look. I just want us to look really quick. It's going to be really quick. It has to be really quick. Quickly look at the very first chapter in Enoch. Quickly. I can't even get there.
Sorry.
Oh, here it is. Quickly. I'm trying to make them lose their bet.
Yeah.
Okay, chapter 1, verse 1. The word of the blessing of Enoch, how he blessed the elect and the righteous who were to exist in the time of trouble, rejecting all the unrighteous and wicked. You've got the other book. Would you do me a favor and would you read it from your book?
Enoch.
hmm
Enoch.
Chapter 1, verse 1. Oh, I thought you were already in there. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I'm here. Enoch 1, verse. The words of the blessing of Enoch wherewith he blessed the elect and righteous who will be living in the day of tribulation when all the wicked and godless are to be removed.
So hold on just a second. So there's a rapture that you just said.
hmm
There's a rapture. It's not the elect. It's who? The wicked and godless.
Yeah.
That is like
That's the ones he's
the
going to be
wheat and the
snatching.
that's the wheat and the tares.
Because the new Jerusalem comes down here.
This is where the kingdom comes.
Mm-hmm.
But
Come on,
that's right.
that's even in the prayer that they say.
Yes, it's even the wheat and the tares.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's in Matthew 6, the prayer.
The prayer.
Mhm.
Well, the wheat and the tares. When the master sent his guys out to plant, they planted all wheat, and they go back to the master and they said, "Master, the wheat's come up, but there's weeds all in it, tares all in it. Do you want us to go and pluck up all those tares?" What did the master say?
No. Wait
No.
until they.
Grow up together. Oh, let them just grow up together. And when we gather in the wheat, we'll take the tares, and what are we going to do?
Bundle them up and burn.
We're going to bundle all the tares up and toss them into the fire. Good job.
I love that.
So what is taken out? The tares at the end, and they're tossed into the fire. What's taken out with Enoch, who this book is
The
written to?
godless, or
The godless.
the evil and the wicked
Yes.
are to be removed.
So he is writing this book, the word of the blessing of Enoch, how he blessed the elect and the righteous who were to exist in the time of trouble. And Seth just read it. It's the time of tribulation, rejecting all the unrighteous and the wicked. Enoch, a righteous man who with Elohim answered and spoke while his eyes were open, and he saw a holy vision in the heavens.
Hey, let me ask you this. So if they believe in rapture and this false Messiah, they're going to be the ones, they're actually going to get snatched up.
They probably will.
I mean, am I right? I mean, that's what it sounds
Well,
like.
it's not going to happen when they think it's
Yeah.
going to happen.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to live through the tribulation, but we're saved from the day of wrath. So whoever survives all of the tribulation will go into the 1,000-year millennial reign.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So at the end of that time period, they will be snatched up and tossed into the fire. What? What was that?
That was my noise when realizing I had my leg in the same spot for a really long time on those books.
Okay. So where I was going with this is Enoch has seen all the visions. Enoch knows that there is going to be, he knows there's going to be a flood.
he
he
knows
also-
his grandson's going to be the one.
He knows that his great grandson is going to be, listen, what did he name Methuselah? What was his name mean? He named him Methuselah. That was a trick question. What does his name mean?
Mm-hmm.
When he dies, it will come.
And when Noah was born, wasn't there like a big, was that Enoch? Was that like a big light, a big flash in the room?
Yes.
That was not Enoch. That was Noah.
That was
Noah,
Noah.
that's what I said, I didn't remember which
Yeah,
one
it was Noah. So I do want us to go
I can
there.
read it real quick.
Wait, okay, let me explain a little
Okay.
bit more. Okay, so Methuselah, Lamech wasn't following after Yah,
Y'all's in the heart.
like Methuselah was and Enoch were. He wasn't as gung-ho, but Noah was, because he followed Methuselah. He studied under Methuselah, he followed Methuselah, and so when Enoch went up into the heavenlies, who reigned and ruled? Methuselah. So everything he had learned from his father, he taught to Noach. Noach knew that exactly what he was supposed to do, exactly what he was supposed to build, and that this was going to be done before the flood. He knew it. So how easy would it be for him to follow suit with a righteous grandfather and a righteous great-grandfather?
Yep.
I mean, that's just cool. Okay, now we're going to understand a little bit more about Noach with what Seth is going to read.
This is in Enoch 106. Chapter 1, or verse 1. And after some days, my son Methuselah, you want me to wait for you?
No, you go.
And after some days, my son Methuselah took a wife, his son Lamech, and she became pregnant by him and bore a son. And his body was white as snow, and red as a blooming of a rose. And his hair of his head was long locks and were white as wool, and his eyes were beautiful. And when he opened his eyes, he lighted up the whole house like the sun, and the whole house was very bright. And thereupon he arose in his hands of the midwife, and opened his mouth, and conversed with Yahuwah of righteousness. Isn't it crazy?
Wow.
I'm not crazy, it's amazing.
And so, guys, hold on just a second. So Seth is reading out of 106. I'm reading out of 105
Okay.
in the Sefer. So there was, some kind of discrepancy there, but go ahead.
And his father Lamech was afraid of him and fled, and came to his father Methuselah, and he said unto him, I have begotten a strange son, diverse and unlike man, and resembling the sons of Yahuwah of heaven. And his nature is different, and he is not like us, and his eyes are rays of the sun, and his countenance is glory. And it seems to me that he is not sprung from me, but from angels. And I fear that in the days a wonder may be wrought on the earth. And now, my father, I am here to petition thee and implore thee that you may go to Enoch our father and learn from him the truth, for his dwelling is amongst the angels. And when Methuselah heard this, when Methuselah heard the words of his son, he came to me in the ends of the earth, for he had heard that I was there, and he cried aloud, and I came and heard his voice, and I came to him.
Where was Enoch?
Enoch was in the heavens.
He was in the garden.
Oh, he was in the garden?
He was at the ends of the earth. He was in the garden.
See, I got
And Methuselah couldn't enter. He couldn't enter, so he had to call for him, and he came out.
Wow.
That's what he says here. He said, I went to him.
Can you read the rest? I can't see this tiny, small writing.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. He answered and said, on account of a great event have I come to you, and on account of a slight difficult have I approached you. And now, my father, hear me. For my son Lamech, a child has been born, who resembles not him, and his nature is not like the nature of man. His color is whiter than snow, and he is redder than the rose. The hair of his head is whiter than the white wool, and his eyes are like the rays of the sun. And when he opened them, he illuminated the whole house. When also he was taken from the hand of the midwife, his father Lamech feared and fled to me, believing not what belonged to him, but that he resembled the angels of heaven. And behold, I am come to you that you might point out to me the truth. And then Enoch, answered and said, Yahweh will effect a new thing upon the earth. This have I explained and seen in a vision. I have shown you that in the generations of Yared my father, those who were from the heaven disregarded the word of Yahweh. Behold, they committed crimes, laid aside their class, and intermingled with women. And this is the Nephilim. With them also they transgressed, married with them, and begat children who are not like spiritual beings, but creatures of flesh. A great destruction therefore shall come upon the earth, a deluge and a great destruction which shall take place in 1 year. The child which is born to your son shall survive on the earth, and his 3 sons shall be saved with him. When all mankind who are on earth shall die, he shall be saved. All his posterity shall beget on the earth giants not spiritual, but carnal. Upon the earth shall great punishment be inflicted, and it shall be washed from the corruption. Now therefore inform your son Lamech that he who is born is his child in truth, and he shall call his name Noach, for he shall be to you a survivor. He and his children shall be saved from the corruption. So what we're seeing here is that Methuselah has gone to his dad and gone, tell me about this child. He's got eyes that are shining. He almost sounds like Messiah.
He does.
And listen, he's not saying that his hair is like wool. He said it's white as wool, not woolly. He's not talking about texture. He's talking about his hair was the color of white. So don't get it confused with it was woolly like it wasn't.
Sheephead.
We don't think he was a sheephead.
No.
We think
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You're good.
I should have said that. I
No,
apologize.
you're okay.
My sheep are not offended.
No, I'm not saying it for that.
Okay, so they,
Never mind.
I missed something. Something just went way over my head. Okay, so Noah knew, and so he was prepared for what John was going to bring him, right? Okay, let's go to 6:19. We're going to do this. We are going to do this. 6:19. Did you read it?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, off you.
And you're threatening.
And
Of all the living flesh of all, 2 of each you are to bring into the ark, to keep them alive with you, a male and a female. Not a pronoun.
2 of each?
Yep, 2 of each.
Ah, and that's what everyone, when you see the little Noah's Ark pictures, there's two cows, 2 horses, 2 chickens,
A male and a female.
a male and a female walking on board. But listen, go to chapter 7, verse 2.
Chapter 7, verse 2 says, all the clean beasts take with you 7 pairs, a male and his female. And of the beast that are unclean too, a male and his female.
So this clears it up. If they were clean animals, what is clean?
Anything that has split hoof and chews the cud.
Okay, so we go to Leviticus 11,
to find
and it
out
gives
what
us
exactly is unclean.
Yeah,
and
we
clean.
go to Leviticus 11, and the clean were things that could be offered to Yah. Okay, if it's unclean, you don't offer it to
You can't
him.
offer a pig to y'all.
No, but when you go to 11 of Leviticus, we find out that the clean are edible by us.
Right.
They're food, and not all the clean ones are for sacrifice either.
Right.
Deer, you're not going to use deer in
No.
offerings, so.
Or like a
You eat
chicken.
that up.
It was specific offerings.
It was specific.
You
Thank
eat the
you.
deer.
Lambs.
Deer, rams are offerings.
Mm-hmm.
Sheep,
Yes.
the rams are offerings.
Turtle doves.
Turtle doves were offerings. Pigeons.
Wait, we can eat pigeon? Wow.
Yes, you can.
They're big.
First time I ever heard turtle dove, I thought it was like a half turtle, half dove.
Like a little turtle with wings.
Going out its neck on.
But it's flapping slowly.
Like this.
Yeah.
The long neck.
Yeah. It's a snapping.
How old were you?
Huh?
30.
Just now.
I just found out it's not true. Okay. How long was Noah, his 3 sons, his wife, and his 3 daughter-in-laws, and all those animals? How long were they on the ark?
40 days and 40 nights. I was wrong.
Listen, from the time that Yah told him, go on the ark, open the door, and start bringing them in, that was the first day of the first month, okay? The 17th day of the second month, he closed the doors,
Right.
okay? When did they come out? The 27th day of the second month, a year later.
Right.
So it was a year and 10 days.
Oh, wow.
Is how long they were. Can you even begin to imagine being on the ark with cats for a year and 10 days?
Jaguar.
I'm talking about all the, of course, y'all probably made them very sedated, probably peaceful, at rest. They were probably sleeping a lot. But I'm talking about the smell of animals.
Yeah, because there wasn't a bunch of cats. It was just like two of each kind. Or one of each
It
kind.
rained on the earth for 40 days.
Yes, it did. But it didn't just rain. The earth opened up and the water came up from the deep.
Yeah.
So it came up out of the earth. It came down from the heavens, and it was 35 cubits above the tallest mountain.
Wow.
So 35 cubits is how big?
35 times
18
18.
inches.
30. I usually just use 3 feet. 3 times 35 would be what?
90.
90?
No.
100 and
Oh, wait, was it 35 or 15?
35, 15.
Do y'all remember?
I do know.
150, and it's 105.
Yeah, 105.
Yeah.
They were 15 cubits above the tallest mountain. So 15 cubits times 3, 45 feet above the tallest mountains.
Wow.
That's still high.
Mhm.
I mean, very high. So everything,
Just covered
it,
in
it
water.
was just washed out, except for the fish.
Yeah,
Fish didn't die.
because they lived in it.
Isn't that interesting?
And the sea monster.
And the sea monster.
Leviathan.
Leviathan.
And the crack.
Okay, the Kraken. Yeah. Okay, go down. Let's see. Okay, so that's 8:14 is where we find out how long they're in there. 8:14, the second new moon, on the 27th day of the new moon, the earth was dry. And Elohim spoke to Noach, and he said, go out of the ark. So it was on the 27th day. I think that's interesting. A year, so you got 364 plus 10, 374 days that they were in there. I mean, 10 days more than a year. Don't you find that interesting? There's a reason for everything. I would be curious to see what that 10 represents.
Yod.
Huh?
I think it's the yod.
It does represent the yod, but what else does it represent? It would be the yod for the olive fat. The yod represents the hand, the work.
Y'all's work.
It's 10 plagues.
Oh, that's interesting. Maybe it was representing all the work they were going to have to do to start even creating vegetables to eat. But it does say that all the earth was dry. What? Y'all thinking back there? That's scary looking.
I'm thinking about the end of the millennial reign, like that 1,000-year reign. How many days would it be from, like, I was kind of thinking about the feast days and how they kind of went through the fall feast and how that could apply because there's 15
Well,
days.
think about this. 7 years is how long judgment will last.
Mhm.
I mean, we see that. Is it Jubilees that we saw that?
Yes.
What was the very first thing that Noah did when he came off the ark?
You gave an offering.
That was it. Would you read 8:20 through 22? Oh, I already lost.
20 bucks. And Noah built a slaughter place to Yahuwah, and took every clean beast and of every clean bird, and offered ascending offerings on the slaughter place. And Yahuwah smelled a soothing fragrance, and Yahuwah said in his heart, never again shall I curse the ground because of man. Although the inclination of man's heart is evil from his youth, and never again strike all living creatures as I have done. As long as the earth remains, seed time and harvest, and cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease.
Okay, so the first thing he did was he made offerings. He offered the clean animals, some of the
Yes.
clean animals for the offering. And these were ascending. Listen, guys, everyone thinks and believes that if you're doing an offering that you've sinned. These were ascending offerings. I would be giving him thanksgiving offerings. Thank you for letting me off the water.
Mhm.
Thank you for getting rid of the water. Thank you for saving my family. This was an ascending offering. He didn't need any of this.
Yeah.
He's been on the ark for a year and 10 days.
So he sent the smell to y'all, saying, "Hey, y'all,
Yes.
thank you."
I want to draw nearer
Yes.
to you. So an ascending offering was completely burned. Every
Yeah.
bit of it. Not one piece of meat was saved to be eaten. And 9:1, what does he command them to do?
And Elohim blessed Noah and his sons, and he said to them, "Be fruitful and increase, and fill the earth."
That was his first command after they got off.
Yep.
Be fruitful, go and increase, populate the world. And you know what's interesting, and we're going to get to that in just a second. Let me see. The genealogy. That's in 10. So in 9:3, he allows them to start eating meat. Before that, what did they eat?
Just the grass and stuff. They were
berries,
vegetarians,
nuts,
basically. Yeah,
fruit.
not vegetarians.
But
Sorry.
they were, really, they were.
Yeah.
Because they and the animals ate nothing but grass, fruits, berries, things of the trees. That's all they ate. After 9:3 and after the flood, he said, okay, now you can begin to eat meat. But guys, to know what meat they ate, they already knew what was clean.
Yep.
He brought the clean animals on the ark. 7 of the male, 7 of the female, of each one of them. He already knew what was meat and what was clean. He would not eat anything that he would not have offered up to y'all.
Exactly.
Because it would not be clean.
Yep.
Okay, 9:25, we've got the curse of Canaan. And realistically, why was Canaan cursed? And this is Ham's son. It's interesting because in 9:25, it was Ham. It was Ham who saw him uncovered. It was Ham. Ham was the one that saw him uncovered. But what Yah did was he cursed Canaan.
Yep.
And Canaan hadn't been born yet. Right? This is right after they come off the ark. There were no births on the ark.
No.
Okay, so when we go into the other writings, and I'm not sure,
Jubilees 10.
is it Jubilees 10? Okay, what you tell everyone, why was Canaan cursed?
Cursed are you shall be the sons of Noah. I don't know, but I was just about to read it.
The clothes?
Oh, the garments. The garments from Adam and Eve.
That's right.
He stole the garments. I'm sorry.
That was it.
Now.
That's it.
He stole the garments of Adam and Eve, and they ending up in Nimrod's hands
That's right.
because those garments had power. I mean, here you go.
So there was power in the garments that Yah gave to Adam and Eve to cover themselves.
Yep.
And that he didn't make them live in fig leaves.
No, that was really cool though. Like the garment study, that's
Yes.
a really good deal.
The garment study is a very,
Yeah.
very interesting topic. And I think that's in our studies online too.
Mhm.
But those went missing. Everything was handed down.
Yep.
Everything that was important, Noah took on the ark. He took the first book of Adam and Hua on the ark. He took all of the books and the writings on the ark with him, and they were saved. With that was also the garments, the gifts from the cave of treasures
yeah.
went on there. The staff,
Yes.
the rod of blue light that later became Moshe's staff, that went on the ark with him. Everything went on the ark, and it was preserved and saved. But guess what? Ham stole Noah's garments.
Yep.
And when he stole them, he ended up handing them down through his generations, and Canaan ended up getting the curse.
Yep.
Isn't that interesting? And later what we see, and I'm not going to go there right now, but later what we see when Yah divides the land up in Jubilees, he gives Shem all of Israel. He gives him he gave him the land where the Garden of Eden was. He gave him the land where Sinai was. He gave him the land where Mount Zion was. Everything was in Shem's land. Who stole that? What was all that land called?
Canaan.
Canaan. Why would you call it Canaan if it was Shem's land?
Yep.
Canaan stole it and
Yep.
it was named after him, and it's still named that today. So 11, 3 through 9.
11, 3 through 9.
Oh, wait.
No, you're going to read genealogy.
Go through genealogy with me. Okay. What's interesting about the genealogy is the genealogy of all of all of Noah's sons. You're going to hear all these nations. You're going to hear nations that existed later. Let's see. Sons of Japheth. We had Gomer, Magog, Madai, Yoan, Tubal, Meshach, Tiras, Ashkenaz, Rifna, Togarmah, Yawan, Elisha, Tarshish. Tarshish was a city. Kittim.
Yeah.
You know what Kittim was? Rome. Dodonim. Oh, don't know if that was a place or not. Okay, Ham's sons. You've got Cush. You've got Mitzrayim, which is Egypt.
Wow.
You've got Put and Canaan. Guys, do you see how important all this is?
I never saw that.
You've got Seba, Hawaii, Ramah. There's a city called Ramah. Sabtika, Ramah was Sheba and Dedan. Both of those were cities. Cush brought forth Nimrod, and he was a mighty man of the earth. In fact, he was a great hunter. Y'all loved Nimrod at first, and Nimrod turned bad. Okay, Nineveh and Calah, those came from him. Akkad, Babel, the area of Babel. Erech, Akkad, Cana, Rehoboth. Let's see here. Ludum, Anamim, Lahabim, Naphtuhim. You're welcome. I didn't ask you to do these. Cashtarim, Philistine, the Philistines and the Caphtarim all came from.
Sorry.
I can't do that. All came from Ham.
Sorry.
And Canaan brought forth Zidon and Heth, Jebusite and Amorite and the Girgazites, the Hivites and the Arkites and the Sinites and the Arwadites and the Canaanites. All of these people came from bad Ham,
Like ham sandwich.
like a ham sandwich. He's just bad to the bone. To Shem. Okay, so for Shem, there's Elam, Asher, that was a city. Arpachshad, Lud was a city. Aram was a city. Uts, yep. Hul. Uts is where,
Noah. Not Noah.
Come on.
Job.
yes, it is where Job was from.
Wow.
Wow, that was good. Gether and Mash, Shelah, Eber, let's see. Okay, that's about it. Okay, 11.
3 through 9.
We're in the last chapter.
And they said to each other, "Come, let us make bricks and bake them thoroughly." And they had brick for stone, and they had asphalt for mortar. And they said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city and a tower whose top is in the heavens, and make a name of ourselves, lest we be scattered over all the face of the earth."
Why did they build this?
So they can reach y'all and be like y'all.
Okay, so there were 3 different groups. Jubilees, 1027. It's in here.
I got it right here.
Oh,
27.
good. Yes, 1027. You're good.
In the 4th week, in the 1st year, and in the beginning thereof, the 4th and 13th Jubilee, they were dispersed from the land of Shinar. And Ham and his sons went into the land of which he, is that right?
I was looking for the 3 different groups. I think it's in Jubilees. Maybe it's 8. The 3 different groups that wanted to attack y'all.
I don't think they can attack him.
3 different parts, Shem and Ham and Japheth. The earth divided into 3 parts?
Yes.
Okay. That's an 8.
That's the splitting of the land.
Yeah.
I believe it's in 1027.
Oh, 10.
1027.
You know what I was reading? That was what I was reading. They were dispersed from the land of Shinar. You know, and
Oh, that's not, yeah, that's not the right. Oh, it's in Yasher. That is in Yasher. We're not going to read that.
You sure?
I'm positive. But basically, there were 3 different groups. All 3 of them wanted to overtake Yah. They wanted to reach the heavens. They wanted to.
It's in Yasha
Again.
11, 1 through 42.
Is it?
Yep.
Would you read it?
Yep.
They gonna die.
That's where I have it in my Bible. I'm sorry. See me laughing at you. I apologize. Yeah.
So this is really interesting because, again, they wanted to be Yah. They wanted to be the Elohim. They wanted to be God.
And Nimrod, son of Cush, was still in the land of Shinar, and he reigned over it and dwelt there, and he built the cities in the land of Shinar.
That's it.
And these are the names of the 4 cities which it has been built. And he called their names after the occurrences of what happened to them in the building of the tower. And he called the first Babel, saying, because Yahuwah there confounded the language of the whole earth. And the name of the second was called...
Wait, that's not it.
Okay.
Here it is. It's in 9.
You read it.
All these people in 9:24, and I'm reading at 26. It's actually 25. And the building of the tower was unto them a transgression and a sin, because they knew they were going against Yah. And they began to build it, and while they were building against Yahweh Elohim of heaven, they imagined in their hearts to war against him and to ascend into heaven. And all these people and all the families divided themselves into 3 parts. The first said, we will ascend into heaven and fight against him. The second said, we will ascend into heaven and place our own Elohim there and serve them. They're going to go up there, kick Yah out, and set up their own gods, little g gods.
So I was like, try me.
Yeah.
Try me.
Don't you know Yah was sitting up there laughing at their
You're
ignorance?
like, look at these little dummies.
And the third part said, we will ascend into heaven and smite him with bows and spears. And Elohim knew all their works and all their evil thoughts. And he saw the city and the tower which they were building. Don't you know, he was like, son, look down there. What?
Yeah. All he had
And
to do is
listen
this.
to him.
All he had to do is this right here.
That's it. That is it. He smote the 3 divisions that were there. He punished them according to their works and designs. Those who said we will ascend to heaven and serve our Elohim became like apes and elephants. Oh man, I like elephants. And those who said we will smite the heaven with arrows, Yahweh killed them, one man through the hand of his neighbor. And the 3rd division of those who said we will ascend into heaven, fight against him, Yahweh scattered them throughout the earth. And those who were left amongst them, when they knew and understood the evil which was coming upon them, they forsook the building, and they also became scattered. So he scattered everyone. As to the tower which the sons of men built, the earth opened its mouth, swallowed up 1/3 part of it, and a fire also descended from heaven and burned another third. And the other third is left to this day, and it is of that part which is aloft, and its circumference is 3 days' walk.
Whoa.
And many of the sons of men died in that tower, and of people without number. So there were so many that died, they didn't even number them. And then it just goes on to the birth. We have Nahor, Terah, and Avram. So the birth of Avram, and that's where we start next week with the family of Avram. And so, see, we did make it through there. We made it through.
Hey, I still give you praise on that one. Good job.
11 chapters in 2 hours and 19 minutes. Yes, do I get a 5? Do I get a jellyfish?
No, you get a high 10. You get a high 10.
She can't. A jelly. There we go.
I promise I won't.
My jellies. Sorry.
So guys, there we did it. Whew. And not too soon, we finished.
Yeah.
Do you see how amazing and beautiful? Why would you omit reading Genesis? It is just, and I'm going to tell you something. We only hit the tips of the mountains. Unlike Noah missed all the tips of the mountains. We only hit the highlights. So please pick up the scriptures, pick up your Bible and start reading Genesis
Dive in.
head first, because it's very safe.
It's beautiful.
Safe water.
It's my favorite book, honestly.
It is mine
Like, I
too.
just
Well, there's so much that happens.
exactly.
But actually, Deuteronomy 5.
Yeah, exactly. They're all our favorites
And
at the time.
and First Book of Adam and Hua and Ezra.
Isaiah,
They're all my favorites.
Ezra, Baruch.
Do you know what we didn't do online? We didn't pray. We prayed before a long prayer.
I'll pray so.
Thank you.
Abba Yahuwah, forgive us for our sins, Father. Forgive us where we fall short each and every day of your glory and of your kingdom, Father. Father, just help us get throughout this day, in this day alone, and let us not worry about anything at all, Father. Your will be done, and your heaven will come to this earth one day, Father. And just let us walk out your Torah, walk out your will, and walk out your ways in the way you intend us to do it, not in the way we intend to do it, Father. So we love you, we thank you, and we bless your holy name. In the precious name of your Son, Yahushua, I pray this. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. That was a good prayer. And so, y'all ready to go eat? Guys, we want to thank y'all for joining us for this. We will be back shortly to do 1 Corinthians chapter 4. Oi. Next week, since we've caught up on our Torah Parshas, next week we will recap. Okay, let me tell you what the Torah Parsha is for next week. Next week, the Torah Parsha will be Lakah. It's going to be Genesis 12:1 through 17:27. And, well, I didn't even put what Lakah is.
It means you go.
You go. You go, boy. You go.
You go.
Well, over here it says lekah, which means you go.
You go. So what it is all about is Yah telling Avram, you go.
Go.
Get out of this land.
Yeah.
Leave your family.
Yeah.
So guys, read that. What we will do on Shabbat is we're going to recap the Torah Parsha. We're also going into, we started the first book of Adam and Hua, Eve last week, but this next week we will start it over again for you guys so that you can study it with us. And next week we will also be doing 1 Corinthians chapter 5. So we're going to have 3 different studies. We'll do it. But next week will not be nearly as long as this week. So Shabbat Shalom. We love y'all.
Bye. Love you.
She looks like the little Beverly Hills